first off, I would like to thank all of you, our MVUU congregants, for the trust you placed in me to be on this search committee. It was an honor. It was a very rewarding experience, and I appreciate your trust in me. Secondly, I'd like you to know that I have the utmost confidence in the candidate that we are putting before you, Reverend Matthew. I couldn't have a higher level of confidence, and I need for you to know that. And finally, I'd like to say a little bit about our committee in general. It was a long, hard slog at times. It went on for months, and it got complicated, challenging, even a little daunting at times. We didn't always see everything eye to eye at every point along the way, but I think it's important that you know that the process really worked beautifully. I held each of my 5 colleagues in high regard before this started, and I hold them in even higher regard after this process has concluded. Things were handled well, and the process is something that you could be proud of. So I just want you to feel as confident as you possibly can in that. And again, we all thank you for this honor.
Nearly a year ago, you, the congregation, placed your trust in this team to help select the next minister for MVUU. We asked what you, the congregation, needed and wanted in a minister. You answered, and we listened. We listened deeply. In addition to the many other wonderful qualities Reverend Matthew brings to us, he is acutely aware of our personal congregational journey, from Cromwell to Greenfields to beautiful Savior, and to a fabulous building of our own that we are just beginning to use in all the ways we have imagined these many years. He has been there to help us navigate virtual services through the pandemic, thanks to his involvement with the Baja 4, and he has personally witnessed the stress in our congregation as a result of being physically separated these many, many months. I deeply believe that Reverend Matthew is the minister to now take the lead to move MVUU forward in faith, community, hope, and love. We're happy to have you.
In our focus groups, we heard from MVUU that the changes over the past year have been intense, deep, hard, and at times traumatic. These changes have included different locations, including a ghost site we could work on and invest in, but not come together in. We said goodbye to one minister and are preparing to do that again. And the pandemic forced us from in-person to virtual relationships and visited illness and death upon our community and our families. MVUU asked for great care on the part of the new minister when considering changes. Under the right conditions, we are resilient and open to change, and we mostly trust our leadership to lead us in these times of change. From you, Reverend Matthew, we heard an appreciation that change is a constant state that we are in, a floodplain, to quote a reflection of Reverend Sams. You aim to help us honor that with care, listen to our pain, our trauma, our chaos, and our excitement. Before more change, you indicate a willingness to take the time to get to know us as individuals and as a community. You do not shy away from change, but communicate that it must be change at the speed of trust. Welcome, Reverend Matthew.
Throughout the last year, you gave us the story of who we are, as well as the dreams of what we could achieve and be. You talked about the connections and sense of community fostered and strengthened over the past few years, as well as the potential of new beginnings, new building, new programming, new members of our congregation. We heard your hopes of the part that our new minister would have in our lives, someone who would recognize our history, our journey to becoming this beloved community, and someone who would share the excitement of our growth. From the initial communications with Reverend Matthew around his candidacy and through the following weeks of our search, what came through was his joy and excitement as he met with us and talked about how he envisioned his relationships with MVUU developing. He showed up as a thoughtful, nuanced, and experienced candidate who understood the complexity of who we are. It was easy for us to envision how he could become part of our continuing journey and becoming a part of this beloved community. Reverend Matthew, we welcome you wholeheartedly.
The needs and issues of the Mountain Vista congregation served as the basis for key questions in the candidate interviews. One of the most important needs expressed by the congregation was that of feeling valued as an individual, not for the work done in the congregation, but rather for who they are as a person. I remember that Reverend Matthews said he would begin getting to know the congregation by meeting with people one-on-one, so as to really get to know them as individuals. The congregation also said they wanted the new minister to get to know Tucson and the greater community. Mountain Vista has witnessed a variety of events where Reverend Matthew reached out to the wider community. These events have included the book fair tiny house, which some of you may remember. And Reverend Matthew towed the house to the Baja 4 UU site and then spent hours sharing its Living Simply theme with the public. Members of Mountain Vista also learned in person about the greater community along our border in a major event lasting days and initiated by Reverend Matthew. These are but a few of the reasons we know Reverend Matthew can lead us and help enrich and expand Mountain Vista's future. We welcome him here now.
You, the congregation, asked us to find a new minister who will listen to you, know you as individuals, and take us forward into the future. We, throughout this process, kept the charges you gave us in our uppermost mind at all times. I know that Reverend Matthew is connected to and understands our congregational community, and he knows our history. And after getting to know him better in this process, I am very confident that he's ready to lead us into the future. Welcome to MVUU, Reverend Matthew, as we enter into a new phase of congregational life.
You're welcome as Mountain Vista's search team, and each individually is deeply moving and absolutely thrilling to me. One hand, I feel recognized for the ministry that I bring to our shared Unitarian Universalist faith. And on the other hand, I'm deeply humbled by your invitation to a shared ministry with Mountain Vista beyond all of our previous interactions. Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. And in kind, I want to come and be present. And I want to recognize you and you and you, you and you and you and you and all the many members and friends of Mountain Vista. I do plan on having one-to-one conversations with as many people as possible so that I can come to know you individually and collectively. Our first step is the upcoming candidate week, April 24th to May 1st. We are planning a week full of gatherings. Some will be meetings, others are just going to be ways for us to engage and spend time together. In large groups, small groups, in person and online. And it's all so that I can get to know as many of you as possible. As it's been said, I'm deeply invested, and how all of you have experienced the many changes in your congregation's recent history and our much broader shared history. I want to know what's nurtured your souls through all of that and what has left you exhausted. I want to know where your hearts are at today. And so I'm going to be asking you and then listening and listening and listening to your individual responses so that we together can discover MVUU's future. But before all of that, at this moment, I'm just filled with gratitude to the 6 of you on the search team. Your service to MVUU through your months of meetings, the challenges, the conducting surveys of deep listening and working with the UUA's process to select the next minister for your congregation. It's a gift. It's a gift. I appreciate all you've done, and I am grateful that it led you to welcome me as MVUU's next minister. Is there anything else we want to do?
I don't know, was that it?
I